administrative activities, including question paper scrutiny, election duties, evaluation of thesis, as well as participating in translations, travelogues, and cancer awareness programs. Beyond her academic endeavors, she is known for her commitment to fostering innovation and promoting inclusive learning environments. As we gather here today, we are privileged to have Dr. R. Dharmi ma'am among us as our chief guest. We are truly honored to have your presence to grace our event, ma'am. Now, I would like to welcome, without delay, Dr. R. Dharani ma'am, Associate Professor, Head, Department of English at Government Arts and Science College, Avinashi, to deliver her speech on the topic Voices of Indigenous Writing. Ma'am, please.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Agila, for a very good introduction, and hope you are able to hear me. Right? Am I audible? Feeling okay? So if anything happens in between, kindly let me know, Deepika ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, the Department of English, the principal and the management of the PPG College of Arts and Science for having given me this opportunity to give a special address on the topic, Voices of Indigenous Literature. I think it's a very good platform to share my views on Indigenous literature, because the title you are given is a wonderful one, Travel Writing, because I think those who are participating in this FTP, you are very much fond of doing research in your life, in the future career. So for research, you have to go for such a kind of like new topics instead of going back to the age-old topics and repeatedly doing on the same writers. Those writers have been already exhausted. They were actually revisited, done by many people across the world. So you can go for such new avenues in literature so that it will be of use to you. So with these ideas in my mind, I have prepared my PowerPoint. Hope it will be helping you a lot in doing research. I'm going to share my PPT. If you are not able to see, kindly let me know, please. Okay. So this is a full view I have given. So this is a topic I have chosen, voices of the indigenous culture, indigenous literature. So actually the title of this FTP is travel writing. So before we get into indigenous voices, we have to know some terms related to travel writing, travel and writing. So we have travel literature, okay, and we have terms like travelers, explorers, wanderers, nomadism, adventurers, adventures, tourism, tourist. Hope you know the meaning of these terms. Being the staff of literature, being the people belonging to literature, we have these many adjectives related to travel. So we actually, when we talk about travel, we always think about a particular point, that is, we keep traveling for a kind of pleasure. But there were different purposes behind this kind of travels, okay, from the earlier times, from the times of Greek, from the times of Italian people. So they were actually trying to find out, discover, invent something in the world. Initially, when the whole world, the countries, the continents were not discovered, many people were just going as explorers. So wanderers, some people were like wander simply without any purpose. Travel always means for us, like we book a flight ticket or train ticket, or we just plan everything in advance and we go, we just see some place, we come back. Everything is easy in the time of technology now. But you just think about the earlier times, okay? You had some kind of people you didn't have any kind of assistance. They used to travel on the ocean even without compass. They didn't even know the directions of the world. So they were just traveling for the sake of traveling. Okay, so travelers, explorers, wanderers, nomadism, all these terms have been taken from Greek and Latin. So this origin, the roots will be from these languages. Okay, so now we have very common terms like tourism, tourist, and because of this kind of travel only, East India Company from England, they came to India. They came to all the countries, and initially they carried the banner East India Company. You all those who are teaching English literature must be knowing about the social history of England. After Spanish Armada, they actually wanted to have trade with India, because India was the most wanted country at that time in the 16th century. They all thought that India had lot of wealth, so they wanted to come to India, they wanted to invade India, they wanted to carry the wealth of India, so they wanted to have some kind of trade connection with India. So colony, even the very word colony, colonialism, colonization, everything is associated with travel. So they used to came on ships. We all know, even in history we have studied. So colonization happened because of this travel. They could come over the sea because they could conquer the Spanish people, Spanish pirates. So, and they could come to India with the idea of having trade with India and expedition. They wanted to know what kind of country was there on the west, on the east, everywhere. Voyages were undertaken. So you can find Captain Cook's voyages given here, the title of the book. So if you are teaching history of English literature, you must be knowing about all these travel diaries, travel writings earlier in the 14th century, 13th century, because we start our history of literature from there. So we have some evidences, some documents, some writings there. But actually, that is not the exact travel writing that we are discussing now. Now, travel writing means we always have one point in our mind that we are enjoying. We are going to a place, we are looking at a place, we are enjoying the scenery, we like the place, and we write about that. Travelogues, okay, my visit to Paris, my visit to Russia. So what happens? That's what we think about travel writing. But actually, travel had a lot of purposes behind, starting from the earlier stages. Okay, navigation. They wanted to know what is there in the other side of the world. What is there in the eastern side? What is there in the western side? So they wanted to go and conquer the continents. Now we know that we have GPS, global positioning system. It's easy for us to go. You can even just find out the next door neighbor with the help of GPS, because who is residing next to you in the next state, next country, everything is possible. You can even view the satellite, but that was not possible during those days. So you can just come across these many terms associated with travel writing. Okay, if you are really into travel writing, you must be at least familiar with these terms. And associated with this, you have diaspora. So another point is people started moving from one place to another. I already told you, travel is not just simply your planning and going. Okay, travel has different purposes. So diaspora is for various reasons. Because of so many purposes, people started moving from one place to another. So that also we have studied. Jews, actually it started with Jews migrating, moving like in a group, in a great group. They were moving, they were just moving. So diaspora, again, like nowadays you find that from one country to another, one place to another, they move. So we have Indian diaspora across the world. We have Indian writers across the world, those who were born and brought up in India, or those who were born in other country but they belong to Indian family, like V.S. Naipaul, Bharati Mukherjee, even Anita Desai and her daughter, everybody they belong to diaspora. So they, whatever they write also come under, a part of it might come under travel writing, because they had been going to different countries, and they could mix the culture of their original land, the native land, with the land where they are residing. Okay, so that is as exotic. So when you go out, like you feel like exotic. Why do you want to travel? That's a human tendency to go to a new place so that you will get a kind of pleasure, a kind of like happiness. That is exotic. So wherever you go out of your home, that makes you happy. So if you go to Ooty, but if you go there and stay for a longer time, you feel very bored. So travel is only for like only for some time, for a few days, it will be happy. If you want to stay in Ooty for a longer time, then you will feel that you feel very cold and you don't want to stay there. You want to come to the plains. So exotic is only that kind of like pleasure that you are getting while touring. And grand tour also, that like grand tour already we have studied in our literature around the world in 80 days. That is again a kind of like, we have examples for everything. Explorers, wanderers, everything, for everything we have examples in our literature. So in Grand Tour also you have around the world in 80 days. And when it comes to gender, then gender is also there. Gender is also associated with travel writing, because how a woman sees the world or travel is different from a male. So we all know that while you're traveling, like even I'm a traveler, I'm a very fond traveler. I kept on traveling and I feel like traveling throughout my lifetime. But my view of travel is different from a male's view, because if I have to travel, I have to safeguard my own physical things, like I have to be very careful about the timing, okay, how, when will I reach the place, and how will I be taken care of, will I get a room, proper room, safety, and more than everything, the washroom facilities. While you're traveling for a long period in the bus and all, you're scared of washrooms, okay. So that is actually not there in males writing, but these kind of things will be there. It will be like showing up in women's writing. So travel, how it is viewed by a woman and a man is different. So gender difference is also there. So we can't simply say travel writing is simply travel writing. It has association with so many other things, culture and religion. So when you go to other country, other place, other religion, you come to know of the religion that they follow, rituals, pilgrimage. So we have pilgrimage. Some people, they just go only for pilgrimage, for religion, for purpose of religion, not for touring purpose. And polygraphy. Polygraphy is multiple accounts of a journey undertaken. For example, if you are going to Paris, your idea of Paris might be different from my idea, my view of Paris or Moscow. So you might like it. Okay, you might like only some part of it, but I might like other part of it. So polygraphy, the same land will appear differently for different people. It's because of your mental mapping. Okay, then solitude. So that is again a travel. Solitude is in pursuit of solitude. So you don't want anybody. You don't want to mix with anyone. You don't want to see the people who are with you. So you want to go to a place where you can find solitude. Just like the cine actor Rajini is going to the Himalayas very often. He has everything, money, everything, value, wealth, power, everything. But he doesn't want to stay here. He finds peace only in the foothills of the Himalayas. So it's again a kind of travel. So that is totally, it has a different purpose. And subjectivity. So that is actually pertaining to your mind. So whatever your mind says, okay, when you look at a place, when you see a place, when you just grab something from the place, what your mind says, that matters. So subjectivity is more in travel writing, not objectivity. So this another, I would like to add more terms, then we'll come to our indigenous. So again, time and space. So actually there is a French priest, his name is Michel de Chateau. He says time and space is very important in travel. Okay, the time you travel. For example, if you're traveling to the US, so if you're traveling, you start from here, like you may start in the morning, but again you'll be reaching in the morning. So the time is different. So you have space, that a space that you are missing. Okay, so that is totally different. Your space, your cultural space, your domestic space, everything is different. So what he says is every story, you don't think that only the stories that are related to travel are travel stories, but every story for that matter is a travel story, a spatial practice. Every story has a setting, every story has a time bound activity, every story has these many things related to travel. So that's what he feels. Every story that is a story of single man is a travel story. And as we know, we have travelogues. This is a typical travelogue. So in Tamil we say Payana Katturai. So when you're traveling from one place to another, so you would like to give a elaborate description of how you travel from that place to another place, and whatever difficulties you face and whatever things you could see, the differences that comes in travelogues. It can be like a kind of story, or it can be like a kind of prose piece, or whatever it might be. It's a kind of like a collection of information. And the next thing is very, very formal, travel guidebooks. Okay, so travel guide. So if you want to go to Moscow, if you want to go to London, some books are available. So what are the places you have to see, at what time you have to visit, okay, when is that particular thing closed, so all those things, how much you have to spend for that, everything is given, like very informative, and at the same time it's for a kind of like instruction, like, so it's very fast selling, okay, like hot cakes, because people would like to know about the place where you are going to visit. Okay, so and then you have postmodern travel writing and post-colonial travel writing. I already told you earlier, that is before the technology, before the advent of technology, earlier they had a different kind of travel writing, and now we have different kind of travel writing with all the electronic gadgets with us, but nothing new for us. Okay, if you want to see what is the time there in New Zealand, you can very well see. And post-colonial, so after the colonial, post-colonial time, what kind of traveling? There is a difference. Okay, then comes our indigenous writing. So what is indigenous? We are going to have a kind of like elaborate discussion on indigenous writing. So it is like the people, actually you are going to a place, you are traveling from here to, and you go to a place, but actually I'm not talking about the current time, earlier. So when you go and visit a land that is already occupied by some people, okay, that is their land. So the original people of that land. So they are actually, they are suppressed or oppressed by the people who go as travelers. So that is what happened actually at the time of the discovery of the US, America. So when America was, when the US was discovered, it was not invented, already there. The people who are going on voyages, they wanted to discover the new land. They called it new land. So when they found the new land, they wanted to occupy, the travelers who went as the voyagers or travelers or the navigators, whatever might be the name you can give. That was actually during the time of Queen Elizabeth, mostly. That is after Renaissance, during Renaissance, after Renaissance, almost the Italians, they wanted to explore. So you have that Amerigo Vespucci and Vikings, all those people, they just tried hard to find out a new land, and they were thinking that it was India, because everyone had an eye on India, because India was very, very rich that time. So they always thought they had to reach India somehow. So we were that much popular that time, but we lost everything now. That's a different story. So they wanted to go and find out India so that they could grab the wealth of India. So they were actually going to different places on the ocean. I already told you that they never had a compass, not even a compass. So they were simply sailing. Okay, and finally they will land, and there might be so many dangers on their way, whatever it is. So they had to face it, and finally they land. But after landing only, what happens, they will find out the new land and they start occupying it. But while occupying the land, what happens, they are actually going for a genocide. Okay, a partial genocide. They are suppressing, oppressing, they are killing brutally, they are doing brutalizing activities on the natives. So that is indigenous writing. Okay, so that is actually an upcoming thing we have to discuss a lot, because being the people of literature, we have to talk about such things. We always go for the easier things. Okay, if a novel, Anita Desai's novel is there, repeatedly you are doing your thesis on it. Instead, we have to go for such new avenues. So the same thing you can find migration, immigration. So you go travel and you go to a new land, and you have to get proper documents for that, papers for that. And forced migration, that is again meant for the people like Sri Lanka, the Tamil people of Sri Lanka, during the riots in 1981 and during the war time, they were actually forced to migrate. They were not, they didn't want to stay in their own country, their own place. They left all their belongings, their home, their land, everything, and they moved to various countries which offered them political asylum, like Paris, London, Canada. So many of your Sri Lankan Tamilians now they are living in so many countries like Paris, all those countries. Okay, because they were forced to migrate, because the living conditions of their land was not proper, compatible. So they had to leave. So this is another kind of travel. It was a forced one. Not a willing one. Okay, so here you comes your memoir. Okay, memory is again, so you can find that Jews, the time of Hitler's time, you know, that Holocaust novels. There you find the Jews were actually, they had to run away. Again, like our Sri Lankan Tamil. So that is again a kind of you can't say travel, but it's a kind of like movement, okay, from one place to another, forced movement. So that was actually seen in memoir, kind of like memory, diary writing, the diary of Anne Frank. So these things are whatever I refer now, you can just go and check with the internet. You'll get more information about it. Diary of Anne Frank, that talks about how a small girl, school-going girl, who was actually made to run away because of this Jews and that Aryan the supremacy, and how this concentration camps were harassing them, all those things. So travel writing, Paul Fischel, and a historian, he says, an American historian, he says travel writing is a subspecies of memoir. So whatever you do, like maybe if you ask me, what did you see in Paris? That comes from my memory, not from exactly from my travel. So whatever I have now in my memory, I visited some 6 7 years ago. So what is there in my memory, my about my visit to Paris, that comes as a kind of like memoir, like I'm just retelling whatever I say. Maybe I would have forgotten some part of it. So that is like, again, travel is a memory. So it's a mode of memory writing dedicated to the recollections of journeys. Okay, so coming to the indigenous peoples. So across the, are you able to hear me? Am I audible? Is it clear? Anybody? Am I audible? Deepika? Audible? Mic is
I'm just
disabled.
listening.
Anyone? Audible. Okay, so
I'm
if
yes,
anything
yes.
like blocking is, please let me know. Okay, so this is actually a map of the world's indigenous people across the world. So everywhere you can find that the indigenous means actually the original people, the natives of that particular country. So this map is available in the internet itself. Okay, so there actually this is a kind of data. So 370 million indigenous people in 90 countries, and 5,000 indigenous people, that is people without land, or they are actually, they are cornered by the, they are actually, they are sidelined by the mainstream people. That is, many people came and occupied. Okay, so 5,000 indigenous, I mean the groups of people, they were sidelined because they can't live with the mainstream, and they are speaking 4,000 languages of 7,000 spoken worldwide. So this is a kind of like a data, and you can find in America how many people, then Europe, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. So you can find fewer than 5% of the world population, you find as indigenous people. Okay, and 15% of the world's poor population belongs to indigenous people, because they are not given the proper basic communities. They are asked to, they are actually, they are withdrawn to so many like poor places. So even we have tribal people here. You find one, you find those people only in the hilly areas. We have in Ooty, Badagas, and you have Todas. They are like, they can't mix with the mainstream people. We have everything, like all like hospital facilities, education facilities, everything we have, transportation. But those people, they have to live in a very, very, in the corner of the place, okay? And the custodians of 80% of the planet's biodiversity. And these people are known for their great contribution. Because of them only, the world's biodiversity is safeguarded. So because they live one with nature. Okay, so this is a data. You may think that this is totally, it's related to sociology and social work, but still, as the people of literature, we must know the status of this indigenous people. Okay, then. So I'm not going to bring all the indigenous people, because we don't have proper time for that, because every group has its own features and literature. So we don't have time to discuss that. This is just a tip of an iceberg I'm giving. So if you want to know more about them, you can just take the names and you can search in the net, and you can even take the PPT. I'll just leave it with the HOD of English. You can take and you can just browse. Okay. So significant indigenous groups. I'm just going to give only some. Okay. So first we are taking the Native Americans. So they are known as Red Indians. So we all know that Indians are always there is a confusion with Indians and Red Indians. When I tell this in the class, students used to ask me, "Ma'am, who are Red? We are Indians, so are we red in color?" Actually, this is again a kind of like allusion, like when Columbus invaded the new land, he could see a group of people dressed like this. Okay, and normally this kind of dressings we can find in some movies nowadays. The heroine dresses like this, or the hero dresses like this for some kind of fun movements. But actually, this is the original costume of outfit of this Red Indians. So when Columbus landed the new land, America, so he could see these people. They were like the tribal people, the natives, original inhabitants of America. So they are actually they are now known as Native Americans, not Red Indians actually, but the name Red Indians was coined by Columbus because they were red in color, and Columbus thought it was India, because Columbus had in his mind that he had to land in India, he had to take all the wealth of India. So he had always Indian in his mind. So they were looking, their complexion was red in color, unlike the European complexion, fair, okay, white in color. So he thought red Indians. So that's why the name is that. But actually, their name, we're not supposed to use red Indians now. We have to say Native Americans, okay. And this is a kind of like Christopher Columbus's pictures, like how he landed, because we have a biography in our part to English. Columbus, how Columbus landed a new land, and how he faced with his friends, how he faced so many dangers, because Red Indians, the Native Americans, were very dangerous because they are all the people who were who were living with nature, and they were the fighters. So they were having all weapons with them. So Christopher Columbus faced this problem. So that thing was there in one of the essays in part two English earlier, some years ago. Even I had taught that. So this Christopher Columbus, he had a idea that he had to travel. He could cover the entire globe in his hand, and he wanted to travel. So Christopher Columbus actually landed, but he was not the one. But normally in schools it is wrongly taught that he is the one who discovered America. That is not so. So this is actually given in the next slide. Columbus did not discover America. Rather, he invaded the land of the indigenous people. Actually, he was not a hero. He was a villain. He was an antagonist. He never did any bravery or something that we have to appreciate. So he enslaved the natives. The natives were Native Americans. That time the name America was not given. The name America was from Americo Vespucci. During the Renaissance, he also landed, but he could not just travel into the land because of the fear of this Native Americans, the tribal people. So he just retreated. The same way many people, Vikings and many people, they tried to get into the land, but they could not. So he enslaved, but Columbus was very brave enough to just venture through these tribes, okay, and he enslaved the natives, and during his voyage through the Caribbean and the Central and South American coast, he came upon these people, and he thought that they were Indians, so he labeled them Indians. So you can take it as a compliment, because being Indians, we were the most wanted that time. Okay, now they are now in a developed position. But that time Indians were like the most wanted. India was the most wanted place. Everybody wanted to visit. So he gave the term Indians. Okay, Columbus and his men enslaved many of these native people and treated them with extreme violence and brutality according to history. Okay, so no more. You can just appreciate, you can glorify Columbus, because Columbus did not do anything good to the humanity. Actually, he was brutalizing, he was victimizing the natives of the inland. Okay, and he sold them to Spain. He did a lot of atrocities on the indigenous people. Okay, now we are talking about indigenous people and literature. Now, we always focus on the mainstream literature. Mainstream literature talks only about the people who have won in their life, that they had victory. Okay, but we never talk about the people who are lost or people who are suffering, people who are marginalized or victimized. So that's why I have chosen this indigenous voices, because we never thought, we always go for the NRI, Anita Nair, Anita Desai, or Bharati Mukherjee, or Shobha Dey, or Arundhati Roy. They're all winners. They have got everything. They have good education, good background. They could directly write in English. Okay, and they have everything. So we always want to do research on the works of these people. And some people, like this the latest writers, NRIs, they want to sell India. Like they want to use Indian symbols like bindi, sari, but they talk ill of India. India is a place of dirt, place of the beggars, place of snake charmers. So India is actually because this is the idea of foreigners, most of the foreigners, but now it is getting changed, but still India is full of cow dung. India is full of rapists because of the Delhi case. Everybody used to, even my foreign friends used to call me, "Are you safe in India? In India, there is no safety." So there's a kind of a wrong image is coined by these writers through their language, English. Because English, if they write in English, everybody across the world can read. So whatever they give, because of their English, they are just portraying not only these people, because of their ideas only. India is like portrayed as a kind of lower country, okay, lower a place with no dignity. Okay, but they are using, they just have the image that they are Indian writers or NRIs. They have that kind of stamping, that is a banner. I am an Indian writer, but I am not. I don't want to go back to India because I'm settled in America or the UK or Paris. I'm happy here. So this is a kind of surface level attitude, okay, shallow attitude. But when you take the writings of these indigenous natives, you find the real emotions, real what to say, themes, their life with nature, everything can be detected from their writings. That's why this is a very, very important topic that I feel. Okay, when you take indigenous writing, the original, who are the indigenous people? The original or natural inhabitants of a country or region. And what is a literature? Indigenous writing. Literature produced by original or native peoples on their descendants, and that is known as indigenous literature. And this literature can take many forms: poetry, drama, fiction, and creative non-fiction. And originally it was, they were like the people of nature. So originally it was oral literature. Even if you take our literature, Tamil literature or Indian literature, originally they were actually sung. They were like the songs. They used to sing songs. Even if you go to some condolence houses now, and if you go to some festivals in the villages, they used to sing a song and dance. So you have Kumi songs, Temmangu songs in the villages of Tamil Nadu during Pongal festival. They used to dance with the song. They used to sing a song and dance. It is actually a kind of a connection that we have with our ancestors. So originally everything was oral literature because they could not write, they couldn't know to just write books and all, publication, nothing was there. So it was only through the songs, so oral literature. And what were the themes? Nature and the objects of nature are the core themes. Their life was associated completely with the nature, surrounding nature and the objects of nature. So that was these were the core themes of their songs and their literature. So literature actually means not only the written literature, even the orature, that is the oral literature, also the songs and music. The same thing you can find in African American literature also. If you take the writers of African American, I mean, 2 generations ago, like Toni Morrison's latest writer, Zora Neale Hurston, and any other writer of some 50 years ago, 70 years ago, they used to give importance to folk tales and folk songs, because their like communication was through these folk tales and folk songs. They used to communicate through the songs. Whatever emotions they had to let it through the songs only. So songs and music and rhythmic poems. Even if you take Shakespeare for that matter, in Shakespeare's plays always excel in songs and music. So we always, there is even a question for the students, songs and music of Shakespeare, right? And paragraph question, paragraph answer. So he used to give important songs and music. That was actually the original the feel of our ancestors. So, okay, he belonging to England or India or whatever country he may belong to, everybody had this feeling that songs and music is a part of our life. That's why even now in our movies we give importance to songs and music. Okay, so types of oral literature. In oral literature, you find myth. A traditional story is actually passed on from one generation to another generation. Maximum, they talk about the gods and goddesses. So normally from the nature. Okay, for them, the lightning is a god. Okay, thunder is a god. So if you remember, in Greek, they believed in kind of like oracles, asariri. We call it asariri in Tamil, oracles. So some kind of oracles. Some, when thunder lightning came, they thought it was God's communication. God was trying to communicate something. So that was actually there in the myth, traditional story. That is traditional story, and it was passed on from one generation, from the elder generation to the younger generation. You can see the picture here. Okay, it's like because they never had any other entertainment like us. We have YouTube, we have movies, we have so many things, Instagram, Facebook. Nothing was there. So they had only this entertainment, that is sitting together in groups. That's why it's a communal activity. They used to sit together in groups, and they used to pass on some story, or they used to sing songs, and they used to dance. And because of the fear of animals, they used to have these campfires. But now, when we go on a tour, we go for campfires. There are no animals. We are killing the animals. We are killing the entire forest, okay, forest life. But we are having campfire, and we are dancing like animals. Okay, our students, when they go out, they insist on campfire. They simply dance as they wish. Okay, so this is actually a kind of like kind of hint from our ancestors. Okay, so this is a creation myth. It explains how the world came about. Trickster tale, a familiar character in Native American storytelling, challenging the established order of things, bending others to his will. Trickster, like a magician, okay, trying to bring somebody under his will. And songs, it contains the wisdom of people compressed into lyrical performance. So all these were the themes or the main focus of Native American literature. So the voices of the Native Americans, actually, I already told you, tradition was very important, nature was very important, storytelling was important, myth is like some story is created, it's passed on. Okay, in that story, they were very much careful that the virtue is rewarded and the vice is punished. Okay, something good will be rewarded, and something, if you do something bad, you will be punished. That was always there. Okay, that's why they were passing on. Like, if you do something good, always you will be rewarded. Somewhere you will be rewarded. If you do something bad, you will be surely punished. That was actually there. That was an inherent thing in the story. So they had a fear, moral fear. They didn't want to do anything, like they had maybe it was called God or supernatural thing, whatever it is. They had different names of the gods, but they had a fear. So they were just abiding by the rules and regulations of the society. But now we are actually giving so many interpretations. There is no God, and religion, your religion is better, my religion is better. So what happens, you don't have that moral fear, and even you can kill your own family members, and you just live without fear, no remorse, nothing. So they wanted to imbibe this kind of morality in the young minds. Okay, and they showed high respect to nature. That's why I told you, in the data, even in the current data, they are the safe guardians of the biodiversity now, not us. not these people who are in the urban area earning in lakhs and lakhs. We are not the guardians. Okay, only those people who are the slum. I mean, in the mountainous regions, in the remote areas, they are actually taking care of the nature. Okay, because of them only we are able to survive. Okay, so they are believe in equal rights. Animals and humans have equal rights. Every creature has a right to live in the world. Myths of creation, nature, social order, everything. So that is what I have given here. So that's why you have even now the tales, even our Narnia, Narnia and other tales. Okay, many tales you have in literature. So Narnia's that book series of books. It talks about how a lion. Okay, and the lion is Aslan. Aslan is an embodiment of virtue. Aslan is the embodiment of truth. So he wins finally. The witch does not win. So even in the 20th century, we were able to enjoy that movie because of this moral concept. Okay, so that is there. Okay, so myths and storytelling is very important. And now coming to the the real Native American writers. I'm just giving you only some examples. Many are there. I've chosen only some because they have been recognized with some prizes. Pulitzer Prize. He was a Pulitzer Prize winner, Scott Momaday. So he was a Native American author. You can see his picture here. His famous work, many novels is written. So House Made of Dawn. It is totally about like the Native Americans. He is actually not I mean, he is a descendant of Native American. So he's look at his lifetime, 1934 to 2024. So he actually talks about his ancestors in the novel. So this kind of novels can be given to our students for doing an MA project or MPhil we don't have, or for further study, for paper presentations. You can go for such work so that it will create an awareness among our literature community. So he is actually known for his, he belongs to Kiowa heritage, Native American writer. He's a Native American writer. His ancestors were Native Americans, but because of education, he could become a writer. And he has published many novels. And for his novel, House Made of Dawn, he was awarded the Pulitzer Prize. Okay, so you can go just collect more information about such novels. And another view, that is, she's not a Native American person, but she's an American writer who was very like fond of bringing. She wanted to show the sufferings or the lifestyle of the Native Americans. She has known through some other people. Okay, she is Erdrich, Karen Erdrich. She is an American author, but she is actually a kind of like representative, or she is promoting the life of Ojibwa people of America. So there are two types of writers. One is they belong to the same Native American community and their ancestors, and another thing is not Native Americans, but they're able to look at the sufferings. They could get the sufferings or the lifestyle from others, and they are able to reproduce it in the form of novels or poems or any other prose basis. Okay, and in Canada also, Tecumseh, Shawnee tribes. Shawnee tribes are very popular, but not from, actually Canada is a northern part of in the northern part of America. So from North America, a lot of migration of these people, the tribal people, indigenous people, was there towards Canada. And when they were going to Canada, again like the problem of occupying the land. So okay, so that was there. Fighting was there because in those days the leaders are decided by the fighting capacity. Okay, who is able to win, that person is the leader. Unlike our democracy, we vote. Okay, and we get to select our leaders. But in those days, like fighting, so they were all like warriors, fighters. So they were all like occupying places, and if any traveler comes from outside, any invader from outside, these people fight horribly. Sometimes their clan is like extinct. They are totally killed, and the travelers occupy the mainland. That this is how we have also done. We are occupying the forest, and now what happens? Elephants are roaming about in the town for water and for food. They come to all ration shops. Okay, they just rummage everything. They eat ration rice. Okay, the rice, they take everything whatever they get, because we started occupying the land of theirs, that is a forest. We started building resorts, farmhouses. We want to enjoy. So what happens, they just started invading, and now we say elephants, they used to come to our village, they kill people. That is their tendency. Wild animals, they used to kill people. But we only did all this. We are the reasons. Okay, the same thing, Tecumseh, and hope you many of you are familiar with the name Tecumseh, because this he was the warrior leader of the Shawnee clan tribe. Okay, and this is the dressing. This is how they used to dress. Okay, and he was a very very brave warrior. And this Tecumseh, about Tecumseh, there is a poem written by Charles Mayer in Canadian writing in Commonwealth. This is actually the poem given from Tecumseh. Those who are teaching Commonwealth literature for UG and for PG also, you must have come across this poem, okay, from Tecumseh. It's like a dramatic poem, so like a dialogue. So here you can find Charles Mem is a Canadian writer. He actually wrote a poem on Tecumseh, his conversation with his generals. So this poem you would have come across, I'm sure. Okay, and coming to India, so we have been talking about different countries. So I'm just I told you here and there I give you some samples. I'm not touching upon everything. So here in India also we have lots. Actually, India is a very very civilized land to compare with other countries. We had a lot of, even before 4,000 years, okay, ago, we had civilization. We had that Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa. Even now we have in Tamil Nadu, Keladi. That means people lived with great decency. So even those people who were in the forest, they lived with proper rules and regulations. So we can be proud of them. So we had civilization like Greek. We also had a great civilization, but still we have indigenous people. It's known as Adivasi literature in India. Okay, it refers to the literature of those people who do not come under the mainstream. Adivasi people, scheduled tribes we call them. So even in admissions we have quota for them. Scheduled tribes, scheduled caste is different, scheduled tribes, tribal people. So they are also like they are totally very close to nature, and they don't mix with the mainstream people. And most of us don't even know how many indigenous people like this live across the country. Okay, only few we know, because in OT we have some people, something like that. So the government, every government of the country is trying to help them to come to the mainstream, but it's very difficult because their lifestyle is totally different from our lifestyle. So it's like any other indigenous literature, like Native American literature, color literature, slave literature, African American, black literature, Aboriginal literature in Australia. They are also one part of literature in India. So Adivasi literature, in English we call it tribal literature. So like any other indigenous literature, the theme is like oral, basically oral or folk literature. And we have modern literature in tribal group. That is, some people who had education, they are able to write in modern literature also, modern writing also in Tamil and in any other language also. So one is like I wanted to show you Jacinta Kaketa. She is an Adivasi poet and journalist, and she wrote in Hindi, and she wrote so many poems about their lifestyle as Adivasis in the forest. You can even see the picture. That's why I wanted to show you the picture. She stands one with a tree. Behind her, you can find leaves. Unlike us, we stand and take pictures with the complex fun mall. We have complex, okay, lightings, everything. They are always one with nature. And she was able to write a book, collection of poems, and it was published, and it was actually accredited with so many accolades. And one was that she was given an award, but she didn't accept it. She refused to accept the accolade, because what she said is, what I have written is a collective thing, not my own idea. How we live our life in our society, I have written. So for that, I don't need to take the credit. Okay, so she didn't accept it. So look at the generosity, generous mind of this people. Okay, and some other, I'm just giving again some other people from other states. Nagaland, you know, we all know that this northeastern states, It's known as Seven Sister State because seven states are there. Nagaland. So Temsula, she is a Nagaland tribe. She belongs to the Nagaland tribe community, and her work Laburnum for my head is a very popular work, and it is actually it got some. It was awarded with some kind of like new writers award, some some award it was given, and this is again like it talks about the life of the Nagaland tribes. And Nagaland tribes they live as tribes. Only some people could come out as writers. Still they live. Actually, I visited Manipur, and there are many people from Nagaland came, many teachers and writers. They were talking about the Nagaland lifestyle. What they said is even the roads in Nagaland everywhere it is not yet developed. So even if you want to travel to your home, you have to walk for a long time, or you have to use horse or some other animals, bullock cart, something like that. So even today they live in that condition. So it is very tough for them to come to get education and to write and to get awards. So you may think what is special in getting an award? Everybody is getting. No, it is not as easy as like Shobade getting an award or Arundhati Roy getting an award. This is totally different. We must understand their problems. Okay, and this is from Jargon. He is a Adivasi tribe. He belonged to Adivasi tribe. So he also like he was awarded by the state government, Jharkhand, okay, for his novels. He has written many novels, and this is one of the novels. I'm not going to go deep into the novels. So he might have touched upon many of the problems or lifestyle of their own life. Okay, and she's a very well acclaimed writer. Even I had done a paper presentation. I went to Manipur and I presented a paper on Mamangdai, the Black Hill, and she is an Indian poet novelist, and she was actually awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 2017. That is a great thing. Sahitya Academy is promoting regional languages across the country, India. So she was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award, but for the novel Black Hill. And this Black Hill, I bought a novel and I was going through it, full of like descriptions about Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur. It's like the neighboring states. So she is giving descriptions on how they are living one with nature, how they are able to climb up the mountain, and how they are able to see the invaders from that. Actually, this the setting of the novel is during the colonial period. So how they could see the invasion of the British people into their land, and how they are trying to prevent their invasion, what are the weapons they have, all those things she has written very clearly, very elaborately in the novel. Her language is excellent. I think she had got education in some universities in some central part of India. So her English is wonderful, and the descriptions are fabulous. So this novel is a wonderful thing, but you need patience to read the descriptions. You can't skip away like you skip away the movies, just fast forward. That you can't do. You have to sit and read if you really want to enjoy her novels. Okay. Then the final thing, I've come to the end of it. So we are just talking about the Maori tribes of New Zealand. So they are also like the other tribes. They are very like aggressive, and they want to safeguard their own tribal community and their language. So they were insisting on having the language, Maori language, as the official language of New Zealand. So you can look at the picture. So even in today's time, the youngsters, the Maori youngsters, they insist on bringing up their community's greatness to the mainstream. That's a great thing, because we always talk only about the people who are already popular. But these people, even youngsters like them, they want to have the outfit, the real outfit of the Maoris, their own tribal dress, and they want to come out and they want to show off that they are also as great as the mainstream people. They're not ashamed of that, that they belong to like a tribal community, and some people would like to hide their identity, but these people are very much like the want to show off their identity as the tribal community. So they call it like people of the land. We are the people of the land. We have more privilege rights than the mainstream people. So this is actually seen in the, actually I'm talking about the current time. So you can just you can find Patricia Grace and Carrie. I'm just giving you again two examples. There are other people too, but I'm just taking only these two. So Patricia Grace, she is actually she was not actually a person belonging to Maori tribe, but she was promoting for the development of the Maori people, and she was actually it was her work has been acclaimed for its depiction of Maori culture in general and Maori diversity, and she helped to give a voice to her culture and to reveal, because she is very proud of her own land, New Zealand. Okay, and New Zealand does not consist of only the mainstream people. That is, you all know that Australia and New Zealand is full of people from other countries. Okay, Australia is occupied by people from the Western countries. New Zealand is also like that. But actually, the original people, they were Maoris and some other tribes. Okay, and these people are very much asserting their identity as the original people of the land. Okay, and she helped to give a voice to her culture and to reveal to the larger world what it means to be a Maori. Okay, her father is a Maori. She is partially a Maori. Her mother is a European person. Okay, and she always identifies herself as a Maori, just like Obama. Obama's mother is a white and father is a black, but he always identifies himself as an African American. Okay, and the same way you have Kerry. She is also like she's a New Zealand poet. She's a mainstream writer, but still she was promoting the Maori identity and Maori culture. Okay, if you could see this um, video, if it is possible, you can just see. Is it possible? She's a Maori MP now, 21 years old, in New Zealand Parliament. What way she's giving the what? Youngest MP, but she's a Maori tribe. So you can watch this in the YouTube. So this is a war cry of the Maori MP, youngest one. So you can just watch it. What I would like to tell here is that travel writing shouldn't always give you the side that you are enjoying. Travel writing can even offer you things like there are different phases, like you will come to know of the indigenous people. If you go to a country, you will find out there are some museums everywhere. If you go to foreign countries, they always have a museum. You have Native Americans museum in the US, and if you go to only in our country we don't have such things. Okay, but in other countries they have museums to just show how their original inhabitants lived, aborigines lived, what was their language, and what were the weapons they used. Okay, all those things are still there in other countries. And in our country also, many people like Mahashweta Devi, Bengali writer, they used to focus more on the tribal people, like how their rights had been snatched away from them Okay, like while building the dams and all, their lands have been snatched away by the government, and how they become terrorists. Tribals become terrorists because their rights have been snatched away by the government or by some powerful authorities. So Mahashweta Devi's writings were always like focusing, but Mahashweta Devi is not a tribal person, but belonging to tribal group, but she was focusing more on the rights of the tribal people. So many other writers across our country. So these kind of things you have to focus while you are doing thesis research in future, and you have to guide your students to go for this sidelined people like Dalit literature. So we have the right to do such things. Okay, we can just go read first. We can go through. We can collect materials, and we can guide our students. Okay, instead of travel writing means only for pleasure, travel logs, that anybody can do. Okay, everybody can do, like even I can write a travelogue. I can talk about my happiness during my visit to Moscow. That is very easier. But when you take travel writing, how come like the mainstream people, when you travel, when you snatch away the rights of other person, the original inhabitants, what will be their life, what will happen to them? So these kind of things we can discuss in literature. Literature is actually meant for that, not to discuss only something good, something happy. So we, through literature, we get to know the voices of so many minority people, minor voices. So these indigenous voices are very much important to discuss. So even now we have so many indigenous writers, writers from tribal community. So you have to go in search of them. This is actually real research, not that doing on the same person again and again. So with these few words, I think I've come to the end of my presentation, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I think I can stop sharing. Okay, any questions from your side?
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for an excellent presentation.
Thank
So,
you.
participants, kindly post your questions in chat box because now the session is open for interaction.
Any questions, any feedback or any comments? Okay, if you want to add more information, anything is welcome. So if you've already had done any paper presentation or research on it, you can just share it with others, because it's a community of literature people, so we can just discuss. I can see people from other states too, the names. So if anything could be like discussed, well and good. So all are giving only thank you, thank you.
Hello.
Yes, okay.
Good afternoon.
Anything would you like to ask specifically, you can just let me
Hello.
know.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm Miss Barkha.
Yes.
I'm from the Department of English,
Okay.
teaching at Travel Institution. I just
Okay.
want to know that you've mentioned various, you have scratched out from the literature, like from various past history to, talking about Columbus and then moving on to the travelogues.
Yes,
So
yes.
how can I, so how can we relate it to the basically, because you have already talked about people who have traveled and who have you know uh, inhabited certain new lands and got to know various things, but how can we relate it to the present world, what is happening today? Like, we all are creating blogs, and we are all reading all that, but how can we relate it to the past, to the present? My question is to you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. That's why. Mhm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please complete. Yes, ma'am. Actually, like I already told you, no, so actually my thesis was on Toni Morrison. So Toni Morrison did not have a direct experience of slavery, but she could collect ideas from her ancestors, or she would have even just seen something when she was a child. So in her novels, what I could say is a lot of things related to African American slavery. But Toni Morrison is a well-educated, well-acclaimed writer, and she was given even the Nobel Prize for Literature. But in her novels, she is talking only about our ancestors' sufferings. So when I had the same doubt, like did not have a direct experience, but she was able to share. It means that she would have even heard of it, or she would have seen it, something like that. The same thing is I can say that you can just take the writers who are now maybe the granddaughters of somebody. That is what is possible with partition literature. We did not witness partition, but nowadays it's coming up. Partition literature is coming, and especially for South people of South, we never had an idea about partition at all. Because I used to say in our class, partition, what is partition? But those people in Bengal and Punjab, they suffered a lot. They had a lot of problems. So you can find like Kushwant Singh's Trying to Pakistan, and some specific novels only. That too we can't relate it with that, because we had never had an experience. But after I had a I had a course. I attended a course in Simla. There, many people from Kashmir, from Punjab, from Bengal. They were discussing these things. No, so those people are now actually very young. So what they told us is like they could get to know of these things from their grandfathers and all the people, neighbors, and they used to tell them about the suffering. How even a Hindu family and a Muslim family, they were very close once. They could simply hit each other, and they were locked down, and the women were raped. All those things, like it was very shocking for them, and they still have that shock. Though they have never had a personal experience, they still carry the shock. So they were sharing the shock, and while they were sharing that, I was shocked, because we never had any experience. Though we belong to India, I belong to India. I'm in Tamil Nadu. I never had any experience. Or I'm very comfortable here. So sitting here and talking is very easy. But actually, who is suffering where, we don't know. But literature can open lots of doors and windows. So that's what I'm telling. So you keep reading more. So if you just go for if you are going to America, if you're going to a particular country, London, wherever, you just read a lot about London. Who are the writers? But we always do go for the mainstream writers. London means who is the person who is prominent. Okay, we'll do research. We never think about those who are sidelined. Okay, even here in Tamil Nadu in India, we have Dalit writing. So who are all the writers? Nobody is doing any work on Dalit writing, because the reason what they say is that is very tough, and their language is not good. They use colloquial language, and there are no secondary material for that. Okay, then what are we doing in the name of research? We are just carrying some material from the net, and we are collecting it, we are just modifying it, and we are giving it in the name of PhD research. Most of us, we are doing that, especially the easy work. That's what, like I get lot of material about Manju Kapoor, so I go for Manju Kapoor. Manju Kapoor is an elite writer. She can't write about the sufferings of indigenous. She can write about a different thing. That is okay. I don't say she's not a good writer. She's a very good writer. But we don't understand what are the sufferings of indigenous people through Manju Kapoor. Whereas when you take Mahashweta Devi, she is not an illiterate. She is again like a Bengali. She is born in a very good family, but she talks only about this kind of like tribal people. So this is in our hand. We have to go search, give a reading as teachers. If you are a student, then you have to get to know through your teachers, through your research guides. If you are a teacher, then you have to do a work. You have to put in a lot of effort, simply for the sake of doing research, or simply for the sake of doing some writing, taking travel writing. It's okay. But there are different aspects of travel writing, as I already told you. So what is the past of a country? Okay, what is the present? And what will be the future? Like the Maori woman, she's ascertaining her identity. She's 21 years old. Which of our students will go and do that? I am a person belonging to. No, they want to relate themselves with a cine actor. Okay, I am asked. They want to show off. But this woman, this girl, not a woman actually, she's a young girl. In the parliament, she's doing the war cry. How they used to do in when their ancestors, she would not have seen because she's only 21 years old. Okay, so she collected, she had that thing in her gene. The same thing should be there in the gene of the literature people, because only we can do it. Okay, Tamil literature is just a small Tamil alone. Only we can read anything. We can read Russian literature through translation. Okay, we can read Spanish literature, Italian, anything, direct English literature. So we can do such. Okay, hope I answered your question, or again I gave a lecture. I don't know, madam.
Yes, ma'am. It's absolutely fine, ma'am.
Thank you.
One thing, please kindly share a PPT to the organizers,
Sure,
and we
sure.
will let.
Yes,
It's
I'll
really
share it with.
informative session. Thank
Yes,
you
I'll
so
share
much,
it
ma'am.
with
Thank you.
the organizers, and they will, I think they would have got a group and they will share it with you, or somehow they will send it to you. Okay, so it will be of use to you. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Uh, Ma'am, there are some questions posted in chat box.
Okay, okay, okay.
First question is, are indigenous writings similar to aboriginal literature?
Yes, yes. Indigenous in America, Aboriginal is in Australia. Almost the same. Okay, Indigenous and Aborigines are like almost the same, like parallel, analogous, but different names we give. Aborigines, Indigenous, all almost same. And I already told you, depending upon the country, different Adivasi literature. We call it Adivasi. Indigenous people, tribal in English, Indigenous, because they are all like sideline people. Adivasi literature. In India, we call them Adivasi people. So their literature is Adivasi literature. So almost same. In Australia, they call them Aborigines. Okay, and in America and Canada, they are the natives. They call it. They call them natives and indigenous people. That's what like. It's like synonyms or parallel terms. Yes. Any other question, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, what is the similarity with Dalit and Adivasi literature?
Yes. Dalit is casteism. Dalit is actually man-made. Okay, Dalitism is man-made because God never created caste. Okay, so then if you just read India's articles, Article 1 says that if you are an Indian citizen, you have every right to use any of the resources of India. So nobody can stop you from going to a street to go using a river or using a well. That is not possible. But in India, we have, it is not our some of our ancestors. Okay, even if you take Manu Dharma, it is given that a caste-based system. But actually, vernacular, caste-based. Actually, this caste system was meant to organize. Okay, like you do this, like a distribution of work. But later on, it became like suppressing. Okay, it leads to slavery, all those things. So caste system, because of caste system, because of the selfishness of the upper caste people, Dalit people suffer. Okay, and the caste system is like victimizing one group of people. But that is not the case with indigenous people. And indigenous people, they are actually the original inhabitants of the land. They already they are there. And those who come in the form of travelers or migrate, those who are migrating from one country to another, somehow they start occupying. Okay, so like we are tenants. They are the original house owners, and we come, we occupy their house, and we become owners. This is the case with indigenous people. But this Dalit lighting is not that kind of thing. That is created by a group of selfish people, that too during middle times. Earlier, initially, it was not so. It was only meant to allocate the work. Okay, you people carpenters do the work, you people do this. Okay, assigning the work. But after that, because of selfish reasons, they wanted some kind of like slaves for them to work, do the work. So because of that, they started insisting on this kind of like, you are low caste people, you have to do this, everything. But to change this only, Gandhiji went and cleaned the toilet and all. So it's everybody's duty to do everything. Don't wait for others to do it. So this caste system is not available in other countries. Okay, just remember it. Only in India we have caste system. If we go to America, there is no caste system. Okay, there's no problem of religion. Okay, so indigenous people are everywhere across the world. I already showed you the map. But caste system is only, Dalit rating is only in India. That is not available in America or in UK or in any other continent of the world. So that is only applicable to India. That too, Dalit writing, the origin is from Maharashtra. Dalit writers, they started giving their voices. Then everywhere it got spread. And in Tamil Nadu also we have people like Bama, okay, women writers, male writers. So Dalitism is totally different, only pertaining to India. But indigenous people are across the world.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have another one question posted by Professor Saranya. She
Yes.
asked about explaining the oral narrative in travel writing.
Okay. So oral narrating is actually, orature is a kind of like leading the travelers. Okay. So it's a oral narrature, narratives actually is a kind of giving sounds. Even the travelers, while they are traveling, okay, when they went as voyagers to various places, various lands, they used to sing songs. Okay, they used to sing songs, make noises. Okay, and they used to communicate through noises. Like us, we have everything like technology, mic, everything. Nothing was there. So while you are going on a sea, ocean, everywhere you find only water, and you don't find any other symbol, any other signal. And if you really want to scare away any of the creatures, wild creatures, even in the forest, that's what these indigenous people do, and that's what the voyagers will do. And even when they go on land in a nation, new nation, when these natives come and attack them, they used to make noise. Even yesterday I was watching a video when an elephant entered a home in Kerala. They were making noise, lot of noise, yelling at the elephant and making sounds, okay, like scary sounds, so that the elephant was very scared and it returned. Okay, this kind of noise is a part of our human nature. So whether it is an indigenous people or a voyager or everybody, orature is very very important. So you share everything through your voice initially. Okay, oral spoken, then only writing came. First initially oral came, that too noises came. So that is the thing of, that is the communication channel of indigenous people, and the same was shared by these kind of voyages also. So maybe like when they had landed in America, who knows, the Christopher Columbus would have sang a song, or he would have even shouted at them to make them a slave. That kind of thing is there. So orature finds a place in every aspect, whether it is indigenous people or in African American or in Dalit writing or in Tamil literature or in literature of the village. Everywhere orature is there, because that was the language of human beings at the beginning. Now we are civilized. Now we are not shouting. Now we are using language. Now we are using a very hi-fi language. Okay, so that can be related with any of the aspects of literature. Even in African American, variation is a very important, folk tales, okay, everything. So maybe you can even know more about the suppression, oppression of the indigenous people through folk tales. They created folk tales. So orators find a very prominent place in indigenous culture. And then travel writing. Okay, so travel writing and indigenous are associated. I already gave you the association, so it is related. Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have lot of questions posted in chat box, ma'am.
Oh,
So, yes,
okay.
ma'am. Another question is how travel literature helps in preserving and transmitting cultural heritage.
Yes. Travel itself is actually a kind of like, travel needs a kind of magnanimity. So I have seen many people, they're not willing to travel because they don't want to adapt themselves to other culture. Because if you want to go to even to some other place, you need to adapt to the ambience, okay, culture, everything. For example, starting from your room and your washroom. Okay, you go to a new place, no new room Okay, new area, new food. Okay, and when you go there, how will you greet them? If it is in Tamil Nadu, it's okay. Even if you go to Chennai, for Coimbatore people, it's very shocking. As soon as you enter, what they will say, na, vanditiya, nathukku vanda, na, ennangama poganum, you'll be shocked. Because, in Coimbatore, we never ask any question without any respect. Okay, and as soon as you get down in central station, if you go to an auto man, you will talk without any respect. First, you have to adapt yourself to the culture. You must make yourself, make your mind prepared to meet such things. So there you can't go and fight. You can't ask them because their thing is that. So culture transmission, like you should be in a position to understand their culture, their situation. These people will talk only like this, okay? And when they come here, no, they will be shocked to see how you people are talking. So this is a simple example. In the same way, this is inside Tamil Nadu. If you go to UK, if you go to Africa, if you go to Australia, so that's why like even the politicians, when they come to Tamil Nadu, North Indian politicians, they do vanakkam. Because first they learn the culture. If we are going to address the people of Tamil Nadu, a North Indian politician from Delhi, if he comes to Tamil Nadu, first he knows the greetings in Tamil. That is learning a culture, adapting yourself to the culture. So I want to touch your heart through your culture, through your food. Okay, so I can't simply say some in Hindi or English, then I can't reach your heart. So culture is the real bridge between two people, and travel helps a lot. So if you are going to the US, if you are going to North India, if you are going to Delhi, then you will automatically learn the culture. So if you go to, look at the pani puri we are eating. We don't have a pani puri in our food. In Tamil food, we don't have. Now it has almost become a part of our food. Okay, pani puri we eat every day. So actually, I never eat pani puri here. But when I went to some North India like Rajasthan, every brand I was trying, that was awesome. Because here, Tamil pani puri, it's mixed with Tamil culture. Okay, what is your taste? But there, the original pani puri with that culture, that is original thing. So I could see the difference. I rarely eat pani puri here, but when I ate that, it was wonderful. So this is the mixing of culture. So only travel can give you. That's why I'm giving examples from my travel. So it's, travel can give you a lot. Travel can help you to understand the other culture. By understanding, you can be a better human being. Okay, when you understand that my culture is this, okay, I live my life. How their culture is that, okay, tolerance will be there. This is what Queen Elizabeth said. Tolerance will be there. If you want to follow Protestantism, you follow it. If you want to follow Catholicism, you follow it. I am a Protestant. I just accept both the things. The same thing happened. So that was the age of golden age of literature. Queen Elizabeth's age. Same thing. When you accept the culture of somebody, when you accept the habit of somebody, that needs a kind of like magnanimous mind, and travel can give you that. Travel, but it actually, it needs lot of patience. Okay, you have to travel to a place, you have to adjust, and you have to learn. At least you should have the basic things. You should know basic things about that particular area, those people. Then automatically you will become a very great person. It will transform you into a greater personality. So travel writing is always transmitting culture, and travel writing actually paves way to translation. Okay, so many people from other countries, many literature, many writings from other countries have been taken to Tamil, or from Tamil to English. Like Tirukural was translated from Tamil to English. Okay, because of the travelers, because of the people who came to Tamil Nadu. G.U. Pope came to Tamil Nadu. He learned Tamil. Then he translated Tamil Tirukural into English. Nobody from Tamil did it. Okay, so this is a great thing. So this it is actually a kind of a wonderful experience. Okay,
Thank
any
you
other
so much,
question?
ma'am.
Because I can't read it
Yes,
here.
ma'am. We have a question. Yeah, no problem, ma'am. I will read it. The
Okay.
next question is how we can relate women's writing to travel literature,
Yes.
and
True.
is it possible to connect the diaspora to travel literature?
Yes. Of course, diaspora can be connected with travel literature because diaspora writing, who are there in diaspora, people who moved from one country to another, maybe for some reasons or the other. Okay, so like I already told you, forced migration is there, but some people they wanted to have a better condition of living. So from India to they go to US and they live happily. So what they do is they, because of their travel from one country to another, they are able to assimilate. Assimilation happens. Assimilation of culture. What is their original culture that gets assimilated with the new land, the alien land's culture. So either that person is showing the culture of the motherland to the alien land, or alien land's culture to his land. So if that person is a writer, automatically the novels or the works produced by that person, it's going to be an asset to literature. So this is diaspora can be brought under travel. Travel is not only a short-term travel. Travel means your view of other countries. When will you get the view of other countries? Only when you personally go and see, not through somebody else, not a second-hand experience. So when you go there and see, so when how come Bharati Mukherjee write about America, or Anita Desai write about London? How come? Because they had gone to, they had traveled to that. But it is not because of their, like every 1 week I travel, I write a travel, not like that. They go stay there, they become NRIs, but still they are able to relate their country and with the new country. So the diaspora also, it comes under travel writing. And regarding women's writing, how women view their travel. Okay, how women view their travel and how women express their views on the culture of others. That is also like gender difference is also there in travel writing, because for a long time men were we are now traveling only for a short, I mean very recently only, some 50, 100 years. Before that we never traveled. Even if you take the travel to space, Kalpana Chawla was okay. So these people, only very few women. So for a long period of time, men only were allowed to travel. So their language was totally different. But after women started traveling, this women's writing is totally different. Women writers, travel writers, and recently I saw women bike riders. They were going to Ladakh and all through bike. So if at all they are able to produce their experience in the form of writing, that's going to be very great, because how like a woman can ride a bike for a long time, because we have the difference, biological difference. Women cannot ride a motorbike for a long time because of the weakness, biological weakness. But how come they are able to overcome all these weaknesses? Okay, all those things will be there. It's going to be a very inspiring, okay, for other women to travel. So women writing is such, like it's a very prominent thing in travel writing. Women traveling and women writing about travel, women's views on other cultures. Okay, that's a great thing. So it's a part of course, travel writing, and it's of recent nature, of 30 to 40 years. Women till that time I have read, when I was a small child I used to read in Anandavudan, Maniyam's Payanakatturai. I used to read a lot. Then I was thinking I wanted to travel, but I couldn't travel because when I was in school, it was not like, even my mother, my grandmother, they were not allowed to travel, because women were not allowed to go out of, in the sense, only in few areas, within few locations. They could not travel. Now even solo travelers are there. Women, they go alone. Okay, woman solo traveler carrying a backpack, she's going alone. So that kind of thing is there, and their experience will be surely different, I'm sure. Okay, there are so many, and women, there is one Arunima Roy. She was actually climbing the mountain Everest. It's again a travel. Travel doesn't mean that physical travel. Your spiritual journey, from being a very dumb person to a very developed person. You have that confidence when you go out of a place solo. Okay, not with family. If you're going with the family, you will be again doing the all service, carrying their brush, paste, everything, giving them coffee. Not that. When you go on your own, okay, you have your own life, your own space. Okay, when you go, then when you just you think that you have lot of, you gain lot of confidence. Okay, so it seems like you have conquered the entire world. So that will be there in women's writing. if at all a woman writes about her travel, even Arunima Rai, one handicapped woman, she climbed the mountain Everest. She had written a prose piece that we have prescribed in our in autonomous college. I refer to it. He prescribed that she has narrated her experience in climbing the mountain. She belongs to some state somewhere in Madhya Pradesh or somewhere. From there, she went to Everest, the foothill of Everest. Then she was trying to climb with one leg. Okay, she lost her leg, one of her legs. With one leg, she climbed a mountain. She has written her experience in a form of essay that is prescribed. That is woman's writing. It's a kind of travel, inspirational, motivational. So that can be given. Yes, ma'am. I think I am answering a question or I'm deviating. I don't know.
Yes,
I'm talking a lot.
yes, ma'am. Perfectly, you're answering.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one more interesting question, ma'am. As per your presentation, you said about partitions of India. Is it right to select the partition elements from a novel to show the travel writing issues? For example, from Ice Candy Man.
Yes, Baptist it was ice demand. Of course, travel, I already told you, forced migration. There comes your partition. Many people from Lahore, they are forced to come to India. From here, many people are forced to go to, that is what you see in Hera movie. Okay, forced migration. That is exodus. I already told in the first slide. Exodus, a group of people, mass of people are moving. It was not because of some personal reason, political reasons. Because of political reasons. That also comes. But travel, when you say travel, we always go for a positive connotation. Travel, when we say, okay, you are happily booking your tickets, booking your flight ticket, you're going, boarding your flight, and you're going. We always travel means we always stop with that. That's what I wanted to explain in the first two slides. Don't stop with travel means just for fun we are going. Travel means everything. For political reason you travel. For your career reason you're traveling from Coimbatore to Chennai you're traveling. For some better living condition you're traveling from India to America. For some other purpose, okay, you are forced to go away. In Sri Lanka, Tamil people are forced to go away. So that's again travel. They have to travel. Without travel you can't, in your mind also you're traveling. If you're staying here and I'm just staying here but my mind is flying somewhere else, maybe next month I would like to go to some foreign country, I feel like going to foreign country, so my mind is traveling. Some time travel, space travel, so everything is there. But physical travel actually means this kind of like for various reasons, exodus, political reason, migration, for those people earlier you had that navigation. They wanted to know what is there in the other part of the globe. Okay, and they had wanderers, simply wandering without any plan. That's what men used to do. Next tomorrow, they want tomorrow's holiday. Okay, today I take my backpack. No need to carry your clothes. Okay, just one set will do. Okay, and some now you have digital currency. So card, you just take a backpack, take your bike, you go somewhere, or otherwise you take just board a bus, sleep wherever the bus. That is very comfortable. Wanderer without any purpose. Okay, that we can't do. So if I can't simply board at 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock if I land in some other place and I will have to safeguard my own self because I'm a woman. So there are differences. So partition literature actually it's a part of our literature that is not actually understood by many of our students and even teachers of English literature, especially from South. North Indian teachers, they know better. So, partition literature, again, it's a kind of like mass exodus, mass traveling, mass movement, migration. So that also can be brought, travel literature. Like if you want to frame a syllabus, you can bring in, nothing wrong. Okay. So when you are doing a research on partition or travel, it's okay. You will not mention the umbrella term. You just write fiction or poetry, that's all. But if you really want to frame as a curriculum for your autonomous colleges, then you can, under travel literature, you can justify it. No problem.
Thank you, ma'am. I think this question is the last question which is posted in chat box.
Okay,
So it
I'm
is
very
about,
happy that you people are asking
yes,
these
ma'am.
many questions. Normally,
Yes, ma'am.
many will be sleeping during FTP. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for your attention, and thanks a lot. So I think my work has perfectly done because I wanted to convey this message, and thank you for asking these many questions. I'm very happy about it. Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think we have one last question. That is,
Yes.
how can we treat autobiography as travel narrative and future scope of travel author?
Okay, autobiography, for example, my experiments with truth, that can be like you can find as inner travel. Okay, so that is like Margaret Atwood's My Travel, Inner Travel, some poem recently I taught. She's talking about her spiritual journey. So, any autobiography which talks about the transformation of the inner self. Autobiography is simply if it is explaining I was born in that place, I was brought up, I studied in that school, then that is just a kind of like collection of information. But if that autobiography, that for that you can take Mahatma Gandhiji's My Experiments with Truth and Wings of Fire of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, because you can find a transformation like of a small boy, a tiny boy belonging to the southernmost part of Tamil Nadu, in a very very tiny corner of the state, Rameswaram, who could travel up to Delhi, the capital of India. So that transformation, so it is not only the physical travel from Rameshwaram to Chennai, Chennai to Pokhran, and then he went up to Delhi. So here you can bring in this autobiography can be taken as a travel writing, because you can find two types of traveling. One is physical travel from Rameshwaram to even now today, many people in Rameshwaram, they would not even have crossed the Pamban Bridge because that was their destiny. But this man's destiny was physical travel, Delhi. Even we could not go and see President's Rashtrapati Bhavan. I have never seen. I want to see. After answering this question, I feel like viewing Rashtrapati Garden, that garden of President Tulips. I have always in my mind, I want to see. So he could go to that place, Abdul Kalam. That is physical journey. Then what made him to go to that place? Okay, is it that a kind of travel, fun travel that he planned? No, the transformation of a small boy. What transformed him? What were the objects? His teachers, his parents, his society. His even he was mentioning about Rameshwaram temple. He used to come in his Wings of Fire. Read. Okay, you can find he is actually, whenever I come around that he is a Muslim, but he talks about Rameshwaram temple. I could see so many travelers from so many other places. They were very very spiritual, and I was like looking at the temple. I used to think, okay, what a great thing. So this is a kind of like magnanimity of a man, a small boy. He writes. He did not write it when he was a small boy. After his journey, physical and mental journey, after he attained a high place from south to north, he writes its autobiography. Then automatically it's a travel. It's a travel on both the sides, physical and mental. And it's a kind of like inspirational thing, because travel will make your things better. Physical travel as well as your transformational mental travel. Your mind has to decide everything. First, your mind has to think, I have to go to that level, I have to travel, I have to go. You have to go to heights. So that is very important. So autobiography also, but not all autobiographies can be brought under this. If you can take such things, cull out, you can just go for this. Some autobiographies are there, not only physical journey, even your mental journey. Okay, from one state to another state. I mean, mental state to another state. That can be like brought under travel writing. You can associate anything with that, no problem. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hmm.
Participants, any other questions?
So if you have any questions, you can just give you my mail ID or my number to the organizers. You can talk to me over phone, no problem. Okay, they have Deepika has my number, so you can get from her, and the PPT also I'll share. If you have any questions, any clarifications, or if you want to know more, you can contact me anytime, because I am here always here in Coimbatore. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, as we come to the end of our session, on behalf of the Department of English, PPG College of Arts and Science, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our today's chief guest, Dr. R. Dharani, Associate Professor and Head, Department of English, Government Arts and Science College, Avinashi, for her valuable, insightful, and inspiring contributions on the topic Voices of the Indigenous Writing. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful and interesting session.
Thank you so much, Pa, and I'm thankful to all of you because you have given me the chance to explore more of travel writing because we I never had a time to a chance to take class on travel writing because we are in affiliated colleges. Whatever is given by university we're teaching, but after you gave the title and I was thinking of indigenous people, so I was reading a lot. So this is again a kind of like. Great opportunity for me. Thank you so much for having given me this wonderful opportunity to meet all of you virtually. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, ma'am. It's our pleasure, ma'am. So, dear faculty members and participants, thank you for your active participation throughout the program. I would also extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizing team for making this second day faculty development program a successful one. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.